Hi there, my name is Melanie, and today I'm going to explain to you how to make your own video resume. Over 2 years ago, I made my very first video resume, and I put it here on YouTube. It was actually for a class project at university, and I did not expect it to get a lot of views at all. But it did, and I also got a lot of emails asking me questions about the particulars of making video CVs. So I decided to answer all of those right here. But first, why would you want to make a video resume in the first place? Well, a typical paper resume can be easily overlooked by a potential employer simply because they get so many, they print out a stack, and one of them could be yours. It can easily get lost or just not get enough attention to actually be appreciated. That's where video CVs come in. They're unique, they're creative, there's something else. Not everyone thinks to make a video CV, even though it is getting more and more popular. So a video resume lets your future employer get to know you better, because instead of looking at a sheet of paper that describes you, they get to actually see you. Even if it only takes a minute or two, it's a glimpse into who you are, your personality, and it also gives them the idea of how dedicated you are to the job that you're applying to, because after all, you decided to record a short film rather than just switch up a few things on your already existing CV. So what should go into a video resume? Well, of course, just like the typical paper resume, it should have your job experience and personal characteristics that fit your industry in particular. Because a video CV is quite short and you do want to say as much as possible, but only the relevant things, the education part might be included or left out, depending on the amount of work experience that you have. And of course, for fresh graduates or those applying for junior positions, education might be quite relevant. So, for instance, regarding the job experience, you would want to mention 1 or 2 main positions that you had and the activities that were included. So don't only limit yourself to listing them, explain them. Also explain what you were responsible for, what you managed to accomplish, and what that taught you. What is also important to emphasize are not just your positive characteristics and the positive things that you encountered during a particular job or a task, but also the negative things, the challenges, and how you managed to overcome them. The same goes for your personality. I would tie this into a particular job that you were doing, because it's quite easy to divide in a paper CV, but in a video resume, it makes more sense to put things together if they make sense. So let's say you start off with your most recent position that you just had. You had a big project where you faced some obstacles, but you managed to lead the project successfully, which you should mention. But then you should also mention what's a negative trait of yours. Maybe you're a perfectionist, or maybe you sometimes struggle with teamwork. Mention that, but mention that also mention that the project was completed successfully and you managed to learn how to work in a team better or how to overcome the perfectionist tendency. So always explain the whole situation. Try to make the best of it by highlighting your successes, but also mention some failures and how you managed to work out solutions to problems. So this might depend on whether you're making a video CV applying for a particular job or for a range of jobs within a particular industry. Depending on this, you might want to mention what you're looking for specifically, or if you don't know or cannot specify that at this point, mention what you would like to do. Mention what you have done already and how that relates to what it is that you're actually trying to be doing. So maybe you have experience in a particular position as a junior, but you want to shift your focus a little because you completed a fascinating seminar or a workshop recently. So if something like that comes up, try to tie it together and explain why this decision happened. While you're at it, while you're explaining to your future employer why you're interested in a particular position or in doing particular tasks or activities in a job, also mention why you would be the best for it. So you don't have to lie and pretend you are, but just focus on the things that you know you do really, really well and that you can back up with previous work experience or maybe with experience that you had during your studies or even from personal life. So give examples of situations where you think that the skills you exhibited might match what is going to be necessary in a given job. And it's also not a bad idea to describe yourself a bit. Say in a really short sentence, because remember, you don't have that much time. Mention something about your personal life, your interests, something that is somewhat relevant to the industry, or maybe something that's really interesting and is going to make you pop out of the mass of the people who are applying to the same position. So basically make sure that you're remembered and that you stand out. But at the same time, keep it truthful, so you're actually yourself. It's basically like giving a sneak peek into who you are, your personality, your work ethic, and your ambitions and goals. So to sum it up, mention your experience, education if it's relevant and if it fits your video, some accomplishments which you can easily twist into your experience or your education part, and also describe yourself, whether in the work context or more personally. It's also a good idea to include links to your LinkedIn, YouTube if you have it, Facebook because they're going to check anyway. In my previous video resume, I actually included a link to my Instagram because I take a lot of photos and that's something that might not be relevant for the job, but maybe it's a shared interest of mine and my future employer. You never know. Maybe they just appreciate the fact that you're creative as your pastime. Also, when it comes to the technical side of things, try to keep the video under 2 minutes. Make sure that the image is clear, there are no sudden noises or interruptions while you're recording. It does not have to be shot on a professional camera at all. You can easily do it on your phone if the camera quality is high enough. You also don't need fancy lenses or tripods. Right now my camera is sitting on a stack of books and I'm recording my audio with my phone. So just write out what you want to say, maybe practice it a bit, depending on what's the easiest for you, and just have fun filming. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. See ya!